I don't know. Mike Chiesa.
What's up? Sorry, finish this one little text. My fiance, bang, we're good to go.
You're good to go, man.
Sweet.
I appreciate you doing this, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I felt like I was late. I was like in a rush.
No, I heard you on the thing. I was like, yeah, he must think he's late right now. No,
yeah.
We're like starting right on time.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm just happy we were able to like work this out. This is pretty like serendipitous, I feel like.
Yeah, it's
like,
meant to be.
I try to podcast wherever I go, and I just sometimes like I don't set these up like Rick in kind of his network worked this out, and here we are.
There we go. It worked out.
Yeah.
And we were just like we were talking about earlier. He could have trained. We missed an opportunity.
Dude, that pisses me off more than anything.
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, when are you supposed to fly out?
Monday.
Monday.
What's the training look like?
We do at 10 a.m. on Monday. There's an open mat tomorrow. From like noon, I think, and then there might be an open mat on Sunday.
Okay.
If I can get your info before we leave and let you know.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. You might get stuck here with this coronavirus thing. You might be stuck in Spokane. You know what I mean?
Dude.
You don't know. Yeah, you never know if these airlines are gonna shut you down. And
shit. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
dude.
there's all sorts of just even. I mean, I'll go train for 2 hours and come back to my phone, and I'm guilty about the social media thing. I'm always on it. It's a warp hole, I swear. But especially with this Corona thing, every time I get done with a practice, I'll get on my phone, go right to Twitter because I'm like, it's gonna be something new. Whether it's the wrestling tournament getting canceled, Bellator got canceled today.
I just saw that, dude.
Yeah, so I'm like, I've never been so anal about being on Twitter right now as I have been now, because it's this is where I'm finding everything out.
Just staying in the loop.
Real time. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing.
Damn.
Man.
I'm so far behind on Twitter is not my thing.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, it's like one of the best places to kind of stay in the loop of things.
It's the best. I mean, for me, I'm like that's more about what it is for me. It's not like Instagram is like when I'm like looking at hot, if my fiance hears this, she's like, she doesn't know. She sees what I look at.
We're all humans. We like to look.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like hot chicks, snowboarding, cars, fighting. I'm just looking at pictures, where it's like on Twitter, it's like, no, I'm following the news. I'm following MMA news outlets. I'm following, Brandon Schaub's podcast. I'm following Rogan. I'm following these things, or the places where I find the news that I feel pertains to me.
Yeah.
And
you're getting that from Twitter.
And this thing, it's not like I'm following CNN or Fox News, but the things in my world are getting affected by this thing. So it's all with the NCAA wrestling and Pan Am's getting canceled,
dude. Yeah.
And the MMA events and stuff all over the world. It's like, wow, this is really powerful.
It's crazy shit, man. It's like it's for real a global pandemic type deal. Whether or not we were talking, like you were mentioning, like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm downplaying it too much, because I feel like I'm a healthy person.
Yeah.
As long as I focus on my health, like at the end of the day, it's just a virus.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you just have to let the virus run its course.
Yeah.
And then you're stronger for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm not the average American where I'm on the standard American diet and I'm obese.
Yeah.
And I'm not like an Asian dude who's smoking all the time, because that's most of the deaths in Asia have been like older smokers.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't have these risk factors.
Yeah, and then you look at Italy, and me, I'm Italian, and I'm looking at how it's affecting Italy, and it's like there's 2,000 people that are dead, and over the toll is probably higher now since I haven't checked in a while, which is scary, but.
So are most of the deaths in Italy?
There's a lot of them. There's been like 2,000. I'm pretty sure. I mean,
really?
we could confirm that if.
Rick, can you confirm where we're at? Because I thought we're around like 3,000 some odd deaths right now.
There's a lot, and there's a lot going on in Italy. It's scary.
Yeah.
That's why they shut the country down. And I go back and forth because I'm like you. It's like, if I get sick, I just batten down the hatches, and usually 24 to 48 hours, I can sort it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it's necessarily a fun time. It's
right.
And it doesn't mean, it's going to take even a couple days after that to feel totally normal. But for guys like us, it takes a day or two to totally beat it in whatever. But I got a buddy down that works down in Aspen, Sam Busby. I love you. I hope you're okay. But Sam Busby, he's a friend of mine. He works down in Aspen in the winters.
Yeah.
He works at one of the clubs down there called Cloud 9, and someone there got sick, and
that's how he got sick.
Yeah, and his fiance was telling my fiance that he's like super high fever. He's freaking sweating his balls off. His hands are tingling. Like, he is, like, violently sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I always go back and forth between this is not a big deal. Okay, it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. And then I hear that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a big deal.
It's
you
real
know,
for now.
because he's a healthy guy. He's really active. You know what I mean?
That says
so
something for sure.
he'll do well with it, you know, but it's like you look at some, like you said, some other people.
Dude.
It's going to be a rough outing.
Yeah. So Rick just handed this to me, and it says, so 4,600 people have died, and there's been 126,000 infected globally, according to WHO.
How many in Italy? I thought maybe I was how it does. It's just over 1,000. Okay, I exaggerated it. That's typical me. I exaggerated everything.
So either way, dude, I mean, that's a quarter.
Yeah.
In one country.
Yeah.
Like, that's quite a bit, bro.
Yeah, and it's a lot of old people in Italy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's a, you know, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's an older country, but
right.
I mean, like I said, I have Italian.
Yeah.
I have Italian grandparents, and I feel like Italian people have this power to live to a very old age.
I think that's like a blue zone, like the Mediterranean. I think Italy's included that, like a blue zone, like where people live longer.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I think Japan's also in a blue zone somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With Fukushima, I don't know if it's really a blue zone anymore.
Yeah, I think maybe certain areas. Either way, it's fucking crazy though.
Yeah.
Dude, like what's happening.
Yeah.
Shit, man. So you're talking about going to Vegas here soon.
It's not for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you think like that might not happen. Like, how much is this like affecting like even like your training right now? You got people not showing up or anything?
I think a little bit. I mean, I'd say there's a little bit of less people for a regular Friday.
Yeah.
Friday's usually no-gi for us. Like, for talking in terms of the training that I do in the mornings, like before I came here. Yeah, I mean, the numbers were a little bit down, but I mean, there's a lot of Fridays it can be like that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's tough to say, you know, and for the other places I train, it's very much like close-knit type thing, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm coming in here with Chauncey, there's really not a lot of people here.
Right.
When my MMA gym, Sikjitsu MMA, we're a small team, you know, so it's like, aside from the jiu-jitsu gym, like there's none of the other places I go really have more than.
So it's not like fucking up your training.
Not really. I mean,
Good.
I'm staying the course, and you know, it's not like I have a bad thing with picking my teeth, so I'm trying not to like pick my teeth, but whatever. But
it is what it is.
It's not affecting my training too much. The Vegas thing was. So they're with these events going on right now.
Yeah.
UFC has the Apex gym. So they used to film Contender Series at the Ultimate Fighter gym, and now they open the Apex, and that's next to the Performance Institute. And I spend a lot of time down there.
I had a buddy fight there not that long ago.
Oh, nice.
Julius Inglekis. He was on the Contender Series.
Who do you fight?
Dude, I can't remember the fucking guy's name. He won. It was a super boring fight, though. Like, if you want to get signed on that show, you have to have a story.
You gotta have not just a story, but you gotta go out and get it. You gotta go get it. You know what I mean? And
you can't just win.
Even at that, they'll sign guys on a loss. Like my buddy Austin Arnett, he lost to. He's a teammate of mine. He lost to Brandon Davis, but they had a fucking crazy fight.
That's all I care about.
I can swear on here.
Yeah, whatever.
Double checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy fight. So it's just one of those platforms where it's gonna weed out the guys that I'm not gonna say the guys that suck, but it's obvious what the UFC demographic is. They want exciting fights.
Yeah, if the guys aren't gonna lay it on the line, they don't want you.
Yeah, they don't want you there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, so they have the Apex gym there, and that has like a full facility. They can do live fights. It's set up. It's not like they have to bring in a crew. It's just set up for this. So they're going to start moving events down there, and I got the call from one of my bosses because I'm just now kind of starting to get my reps doing the TV stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. You wouldn't tell right now because I look like a homeless guy, but I clean up and go on TV when it's my time. But yeah, I think that London card's in jeopardy. I mean, by the time this comes out, what we're talking about, this podcast, it'll probably be a thing of the past, or maybe who knows. But from what I'm understanding, there's a slight chance that it could get canceled, and they want me on deck in case I need to go down there to do something.
Yeah.
But they're like, "Are you here in Vegas or are you in Spokane?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in Spokane. What's up?" They're like, "Oh, never mind." I'm like, "No.
Don't never mind me,
I know what's going on right now, and I know why you know what's going on." They're just like, "Well, with the England card."
They're
like, "But we don't want you traveling." I'm like, "Dude, it's a 2-hour flight.
Okay,
I'll wear gloves.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I'll get there. I'll be safe. Don't worry." So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. Just crazy times, man. This is just a wild thing.
Yeah, dude. It's wild. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, dude.
Yeah.
It really will.
and I chew my nails bad too. So that's I'm like, as I'm going to chew my nails, I'm like, don't chew your nails, dude. It's coronavirus in the air.
We all gotta have this. Yeah, I'm just trying to be as healthy as fucking as I possibly can.
Yeah,
Like,
St. Patty's Day's tomorrow. It's gonna be chaos everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing photography for this event downtown. This bar hopping thing, and so we're putting ourselves in the line of fire.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be touching any of those cute girls in the green overalls and
just stay behind the camera.
Stay behind the camera. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Shit. But it's craziness. Everything's fucking shutting down.
Yeah.
Good thing it didn't happen in January.
Yeah, man. I know that would have been.
Yeah, you just came off a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What was that like? Fighting somebody of like, I mean, you've had some amazing fights and you fought a ton of fucking people, but like that was a big one, like a legend in the sport type thing. You know what I mean? Like, was that
that was the most
was it like surreal at all?
It definitely was. It was just it was a challenging training camp.
Broke your nose, right?
Yeah, I broke my nose, and it's these last 3 fights. They've been great. You know what I mean? Being in the new weight class.
How much better does that make you feel?
It makes me feel a lot better about my training. It's easier to stay focused. You know what I mean? And when your focus is just on like cutting weight, you really. I got drawn away from the sport. I was like, the farther up this ladder I'm going, it's getting harder and harder. And it's just sapping the life out of me. It's taking my love out of the sport. And the Kevin Lee thing happened, and that sucked. And
you're tall, bro. Like, what are you, like 6'3"?
I'm 6'2".
6'2"?
Yeah, might be the shoes I'm wearing that might make me a little taller.
Either way, but like you don't have a lot of weight to cut.
Yeah, and for the way I train, it's no secret. I love to grapple. I will never try to hit some guy with some smoke and mirrors. Like, you don't know what I'm going to do this fight. Like, no, I love to grapple. That's
stop it.
This is my favorite thing to do in my my free time.
Yeah,
I don't get out of shape because I'm always grappling. I'm always doing jiu-jitsu. I love it. So, but it wouldn't make sense for me with my style to not lift weights.
Right.
So once I got in the UFC, it was time. I was able to quit my job, and I could focus on a full-time training regimen that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
And lifting weights became a part of it. And
it's a necessary part.
And I started to get great results from it. But with great results, there also comes the downside to it, and it's I'm getting too big for the weight class. And it just, once the Kevin Lee thing happened, that really didn't shake me up too much. Once I got back on it got back in the grind. And the Pettis fight, that was when I started to dawn on me. I'm like, okay, I'm in my 30. I just turned 30.
Yeah.
This is not easy. It's a lot different. Now I feel like now there's like every year that passes, I still feel great. Like we were just talking before we filmed the show about how it feels good to be in your 30s.
Yeah.
I feel good, but when it comes to this severe weight cutting thing, there's nothing that feels. The older you get, the harder it gets. You know what I mean?
The bounce back is harder, man.
Yeah. So the last 3 fights, they've been great. You know what I mean? The Condit fight was a big mental test for me because it was like I've never been going into a fight with 2 losses in a row behind me. And a new weight class against a guy I looked up to. I fought a lot of mental battles even on fight night in the locker room. I fought a lot of mental battles. I was going through it back there.
Yeah.
So that felt good. The Diego fight, I was pretty confident that one. I was like,
a little past his prime.
I was very confident, but I was also very cautious. I wasn't overconfident in the sense where
he's always dangerous.
He's always dangerous, and I don't want to be overconfident. Go start chasing subs and gas myself out, and then give him an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
So
did you watch him on The Ultimate Fighter growing up? Because you're 32. I think we're the same age.
Yeah.
So it's like, was it kind of weird seeing this dude, and it's like, I gotta go beat him up.
It kind of was, and it was a fight. They came to us with it. So I think a lot of people, for me, the naysayers, the guys that want to talk shit, like, oh, you're just out there fighting guys that are over the hill. I'm like, I'm just fighting who they asked me to. I haven't asked for any of these fights. I didn't call and ask for Carlos. I didn't call and ask for Diego. I definitely didn't call and ask for RDA. He's ranked number 5 at the time. These guys come looking for me. I have a lot of people think I'm an easy fight. I don't fight technically. I look sloppy. There's some point in the fight I get in a bad position. It's just
it's a fight. That is a fight.
If I was somebody from the outside looking in and watching me, I would be like, I'm fighting that guy. That guy sucks. And I'm fully okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'd be You know,
it's good for you.
I'm pretty honest with myself. You know what I mean? When I watch film of just myself as myself, I see all the holes. I'm like, oh, that was bad. Oh, what are you doing? You know, so I can only imagine somebody that's in my competitive realm being like, oh, that guy.
You probably see more than they do, though. You see all your own flaws, bro.
Yeah.
You're like, why the fuck did you not grab here? Yeah. Like, oh, dude, you could. If he would have knew better, he could have hit you there with like a kick or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
but the RDA fight felt good, man. It was like, now I'm back. Like, now I feel like I'm back. I'm back in the mix. Like, this is where I belong. Like, I don't want to, like, everybody's really good. Everybody in the UFC is good, whether you got a number next to your name or not. We're all here for a reason.
Right.
But I'm like, the way I train and the way I prepare, like, I don't belong to fight anybody less than the best. You know what I mean?
100%.
I want to fight the ranked guys. I want to there's a chance you can lose and get severely injured and fucked up every fight.
Yeah.
And I think about things like that. And I'm like, if I'm going to put myself on the line, I want it to be against the best guys. I either want to win big or I want to lose big. Because when you win big and lose big, there's actually really not a lot of your losses aren't as devastating. Like,
right.
Oh, you lost to the number 5 guy in the world. That's not too bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's better than losing to the unranked Russian that's ridiculously tough, that's undefeated, that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? So guy. It's like it's. I like being in the mix with these guys. This is where I belong, and it feels good to be back.
Yeah, and it must be nice, right? I mean, are you number 7 right now?
7, yeah.
7, right? And that's where you left off at 55. So
yeah, that's the highest I ever got. So I'm like, I'm right back where I want to be.
Right in the mix, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too because I have no problem being very honest about anything. I'm a pretty open book. And what's crazy is, as much as I love being here, now that I'm up here, I'm like, oh shit. Now I almost think less of myself. I'm like, oh, these guys are so fucking good. How am I going to beat any of these guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I look at every single guy within the top 15, and now that I'm in here, I'm like, it's like when I wasn't there, I was like, I could beat him. I could beat all those guys.
Yep.
And then now I just won a fight that got me smack dab in the middle, and I'm looking around me and I'm going, fuck, how do I beat him?
Yeah.
Fuck, how am I going to beat that guy? How am I going to? It's all the same guys that before. I was like, fuck all of them. I'm going to beat them all.
You feel like less like. You feel like maybe before it was almost like you had something to prove, and like now you have more confidence because of that, or
it's more.
What do you think that shift is?
I think that a lot of that intimidation comes from. I follow the sport a lot. I respect all these guys, but I think a lot of it comes from like. I want, like, it's not like this is like a subliminal thing.
Yeah.
That I fight better when I'm afraid of guys. I fight better when I'm like.
Yeah.
I don't want to be I've been overconfident before.
Come out flat when you do that shit.
I've been overconfident when I fought guys like Anthony Pettis. I've been overconfident when I fought guys like Kevin. Granted, there was some undivine intervention with Kevin. But, nonetheless, those 2 fights, I was overly confident.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to be a world champion. I do believe that. But it's like, it's weird how back then it was this brash overconfidence of like wanting to kind of see what's going on around me. And I'm like, well, I'm like these guys too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I can be like Connor. I can be like Colby. I can be like, puff my chest out and let the world know that this is how great I think. No, that's really not who I am deep down. Because when I was doing that, I was still feeling the same way I'm feeling that I'm telling you about right now, being afraid of what's going on, who's around me. And that it's something that it's better that I embrace it instead of trying to fight it, because that fear is what makes me perform well. Is when you're afraid, if you just see, if some guy, the fight or flight instinct what I always go back to. It's like if a guy walked up to you on the streets with a knife and you just were confident, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot different than when your fight or flight instincts kick in. There's some fear, and you're like, boom. Now you're getting the adrenaline up. Now you're activating all the primal instincts that we all have as men, as human beings.
Yeah.
If you go into something confidently, fighting that feeling, then that's when bad things happen.
Yeah.
So I've just learned to, like, now that I'm back up here with the best, now I'm like, oh, fuck, how am I going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They're going to give me a name, and that I'm going to focus on that guy, and I'll train, and I'll embrace the fear, and there's no reason why I can't keep winning. You know what I mean? It's
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said something like embrace the fear. That's so true. There's been some days, and like I'll come in even just like rolling in the gym, bro, and it's like, man, I'm just feeling my fucking self. I know it. Like, no one's going to fuck with me today. And then it's like my worst practice ever.
Yeah.
And then some days I'm in there and I'm just like, it's like, fuck, man, like maybe I got a little butterflies. Like I'm gonna have some hard rolls today, and it's like I just focus on the little things, like staying in good position, staying tight, staying here, and just focus on what I need to do. And I have the best fucking days ever. And it's like I'm not over confident. You know, like I let the ego, like I put the ego to the side.
Yeah.
And like I have that healthy respect, and that's when you perform your best.
Yeah, I'm very confident. I'm very positive, but I'm also on the other side of it. I'm a guy that I do think about the worst case scenarios a lot.
Yeah.
I do. I battle my fears. I'm the type of guy where sometimes maybe you just gotta push me off the edge because I can fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like sometimes it's like I don't hold myself back. I've always gotten myself to walk that line, but that's why it's like I just force myself to do the things that I'm afraid of. Like force myself into these situations because there has been many times I haven't stepped up, and it's always. I can't say being in the right mindset is unlocking the path to me never losing a fight again, because that would just be kind of asinine, because what if I did do that and I lost?
Yeah.
But it is going to be the best thing to do for me going forward.
Yeah.
Don't fight it. Don't try to project the opposite, which is what I was doing before. Don't try to project that there is no fear and you can, whatever. It's like just embrace it.
Embrace that shit.
Yeah. I grew up bullied, so I think that's kind of where it comes from, is being like, kind of in a shell sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just fucking spring up on people.
Yeah. Bam, I'm here.
Yeah, dude. Well, 170 is the fucking the spot for you, man. You see a lot of fighters, like they'll go up to the next weight class and they just perform a million times better because they're not like killing themselves to get to the weight. You know what I mean? I hate cutting weight. It's the worst.
It's still, there's, and even the guys that are going up, there's still a little bit of weight to be cut, you know, but it's like, it's not the devastating, getting into the red zone type stuff.
Well, so many guys feel like if in order for them to be competitive, they have to go to that next weight class down.
Especially guys that come from like our age.
Yeah.
People that come from our age or even like a little older, maybe a little bit younger, is I always say it's like we're from like that Militich early 2000s era where like I started training in 2008. And at the same time, I'm wrestling, and there amongst even with the wrestling at that time, there's just this huge extreme weight cutting culture, and it was everything, especially with MMA, everything was extreme. It was like you need to cut the most weight, you need to spar 10 rounds with a fresh guy every minute.
Yeah, as hard as you can.
4 times a week, hard as you like. It was everything was like
banging all the time,
and
bro.
It worked though, because look at the guys from the Militich camp. Look at the guys that had the extreme weight cuts and the extreme over the top. That was what was successful at the time, and it wasn't until guys with a little more of like the GSP Ben Henderson approach. Those were the first guys that started tuning down the sparring, tuning up the athleticism, tuning up the other supplemental type training. And then for me, I always look at my prime example of the guy that went up and had the success was Poirier.
Yeah.
Poirier went up, and I'm like, even before he lost to Michael Johnson, it was like he knocked out like 4 guys in a row. They were tough as hell at 55.
Yep.
I'm like, man, maybe is doing it really well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And look at him now. I mean, he's only lost 2 fights since he's gone to 55. He fought for 2 world titles.
And he's fucking big at 55.
He's big, dude. And we still nah, it's funny because I didn't have a tough weight cut my last fight.
That's better,
the Condit camp was like super smooth. I was like expecting the worst after coming off the bad weight cut, the missed weight.
Yeah.
I was like, as we're going through it, I'm like expecting it to be bad, and I was on weight in like no time. But this fight, it's not like I didn't have a tough weight cut, but it was like I actually got to cut like 10 pounds of, I only had 9 pounds of water to cut, but I was like, by the end of the last bath round, I'm like, oh, this felt a lot worse than the last time I did it. But it's just there's always going to be a little bit of weight to cut.
Yeah.
But it's that over the top stuff when you start thinking about life and death.
I think when you start asking the question like, what weight can I make? I think that's where people like, what can you get down to? It's like not necessarily what can you get down to, like what should you get down to?
Yeah. Well, and I thought we were getting over that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think the vegan movement, the fucking Game Changers movie is pissed gas on the fire, because now you got Aldo made 35 and he didn't look terrible. During the fight, he didn't look bad. But that whole fight week was like, what the fuck is this? This guy looks like a skeleton.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see Barboza. He's going to go 45. And I've seen in 2015, I saw him walk into the scale at 55. And he did not look like a guy that can make 45. So now we're going to see him do it. And that fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'm all about any type of healthy eating is great.
Yeah.
Whether it's vegan, whether it's the carnivore diet, pescatarian, fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Healthy eating is great. But don't tell me you fucking, that movie is the most propaganda bullshit I've ever seen in my life. And that's not a stab at the diet. That's just a stab at the people. Like, you really tried to pull the blinders over a bunch of people's eyes with some.
Yeah.
The hour-long battle ropes thing might have been the stupidest fucking thing. James
What?
Wilkes,
Come on,
you're
James.
James Wilkes. You are a respectable fighter, but I can't believe you sold us on that. That was the stupidest shit ever. Anybody that bought into that is fucking dumb.
Did you watch his debate on Rogan?
I did not. I watched half of that movie and pulled away. I was like, this is just it's so contradictive.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, I had a hard time. I really forced myself to watch it. It was really hard. But what got me was when he debated Chris Kresser on Joe Rogan, like, from a debate standpoint, he crushed him. But what kind of got me was he would point out, like, the most nuanced thing that they would say in there. He's like, no. It's like, we didn't say this. This is very specific what we said. But it's like, bro, the average person isn't going to catch what the fuck you just said. They're going to draw an inference from that, and they're going to make, like, a general assumption.
Yeah.
So it's like they were very careful with their wording, but but it was, like, misleading.
Very misleading. And, I turned the film off when they're getting into the powerlifting guy. And the second that I saw his name, I of course, first thing, bam, going to Wikipedia. Who is this guy?
Yep.
Bam, failed drug test. Okay, cool. So you're saying this guy just, did the longest fucking, whatever, the walking squat is. I don't know what the fuck you call the thing. But the guy failed for steroids.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can't even say that he did that eating grass and plants and sweet potatoes and tofu. Like, no, he fucking was taking steroids.
Yeah.
Like, you could eat nothing and take steroids and do great things. You know what I mean? Like, it's so for them to say, I'm like, that's asinine.
Yeah, fuck that movie, dude.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
Yeah, it frustrates the shit out of me when people make decisions based off movies.
Yeah, do it yourself. Do your own research. Do just because it's always the next best thing that's out there. Nobody wants to really do the research. They just want to be able to turn on the TV and have that be there, and that, there's the solution right there. You know,
whatever's easy.
And it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think for the average person, the vegan diet's great because the average person is obese, and the average person makes really bad decisions with their. And I'm just as guilty. I'm not sitting here saying that. I had a steak fajita bowl on my way here.
What's wrong with that?
I know, but it probably wasn't the best thing. You know what I mean? I'm guilty to have a cheeseburger now and then. I like pizza. I like wings. You know what I mean? But I'm active, and sometimes that can negate it. But it's like the average person is not very active. And if I had my diet that I am out of camp that I eat, I'd be a fat pile of shit. Yeah. Just to be honest with you.
How big do you get between camps?
I was 200 pounds today.
Okay.
Yeah, before I came here.
What do you try to walk around at?
In camp?
Yeah.
I like a lot of notice for my camps, and it's not for weight reasons. The weight drops fast. I could control my portions for 3 days, and I'm going to be down to 190.
Yeah.
Literally in 3 days.
Oh, nice.
So I try to keep my walking weight around 191. I like to take creatine and stuff like that.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But I like a lot of notice for my camps because I still am in this phase of where I am wanting to lift a lot. Not get big, but get stronger.
Yeah, that's a good walking weight. What do you try to diet down to?
This last fight week, I think I showed up at like 183, and when I started my cut, I was like I think it was 179.
Legit, yeah. So
it's not me. I miss no meals. And there's guys that'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna drop this extra weight class, not miss meals." Like, yeah, we could all eat a little 200 calorie. Consider that a meal.
Yeah.
But no, I still
real meals.
I eat real meals. I eat good. I feel good.
Do you stop eating like solid food at any point?
No. I'm always I'll eat even before I go to bed. Like I usually cut weight. I make weight the night before or get like 2 pounds over.
Right.
Because I usually float about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds in my sleep. So I usually just have like a meal before bed, and I'm not going without food or water for more than 12 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's even how it was before. When I was making 55. But it's just. like I said, like there's a difference between eating real meals and like, oh, I was able to eat 6 times a day. It's like, well, you ate 6 things like this big.
Yeah.
You know,
like
so,
is that a meal, bro?
Is that anything? You couldn't even put those 6 things together.
Yeah.
And it would satisfy you.
Yeah. So you're essentially on weight the night before. What time are weigh-ins for the UFC?
9 a.m.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah, and so we usually
that makes a big difference.
You don't usually sleep the best the night before.
No.
But so usually it's like I could make weight probably the morning of. I just like the least amount of stress. So it's like it's just best for me to just get to what I can, and let's just say if things aren't going great, then it's like, okay, well, at least you cut a bunch of weight and you can continue tomorrow. It'd suck to be like cutting the day of weigh-ins, and it's like, oh, things aren't going good, but you have an hour.
Right. I always wanted to conserve as much energy as I could the day of a weigh-in.
Yeah. Just have to just walk around and not do much.
How do you like to cut your water weight?
I don't mind a hot tub too much, but I just don't like to be in it for a long, long time. There's been times where, I think when I cut for Joe Lozon, I think I was in a hot tub for just like 6 hours just breathing chlorine.
Shit, bro. That was 55, right?
Yeah, and then the cut for Pettis, which is just horrendous. I should have never fought that fight. I hate even talking about it sometimes, but I was cutting weight for 10 hours. I was in a hot bath or a wrap for 10 hours.
Yeah.
10 hours. It was a 6-hour block.
Yeah.
And then a 4-hour block with like a few hours in between.
Wow. People don't realize like sitting in that hot water wreaks havoc on your mind.
Boiling, dude.
You just want to get out.
By the time I got to I had like a panic attack. I was cruising the first night, got through like the 6 hours, and then I stepped on the scale and saw my weight didn't go down as much as I wanted.
Oh,
and it was bad. It's usually like when you check your weight after your first night cutting weight, you're never happy with the number. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But this one was not what I wanted. I was like pissed, like punched the wall, and then that night I tried to go to bed, and I was having just like I couldn't stop my body from moving. It wasn't like they had my feet elevated for my blood pressure. So I'm like laying with my feet like way up here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, borderline, like, it's not like I was convulsing, like I lost my mind, but I'm like, I couldn't stop my body from moving. And I'm like, at the time, she's my girlfriend. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, babe? Like, I couldn't stop moving. I started just freaking out, and I just like broke down, started crying. I was like, I'm gonna fucking die doing this. Like, I really like, I'm gonna die. Like, I can't. My body's like
shutting the fuck down.
It's like shutting down. It's vibrating and shaking bad. Like, I can't get myself to sit still. And so like that next day, I was just like, fuck it, dude. I'm just gonna walk to my death on this one.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Whatever. This is it. This is how it ends. I'm the first fatality in the UFC. In my mind, that's like, this is it. I'm not gonna puss out. I'm not gonna be the guy that I think some guys pull back. You know, they're like having a shitty cut, and they're just like, oh, I'm done. You know, like they maybe hit that phase that I was at.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna go until I can't go anymore. And
yeah.
I did make it. I missed weight. I missed weight by like 1.5 pounds. It was done. I broke my foot 12 days before, and I couldn't run. So that.
At a certain point, your body just stops letting you lose weight.
Yeah, I was done. I mean, it's for me to make 55, everything really has to go off without a hitch.
Yeah, yeah. I was just cornering a fighter, I guess. It was when Bellator was in Thackerville, I guess, here a few weekends ago.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was a buddy of mine, and like he trains at a different gym, but he didn't have anybody to like go with him in corners. So like I'm going with them, and like I'm helping him cut weight. And I come to find out like afterwards, this is at 45. He started at like fucking 80, bro.
Yeah.
And like we're getting down, and like whenever I used to fight, I would weight cut like the last probably 4 pounds. I was just like soaking in the tub with some Epsom salt, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
I put a space heater in there to like create like the sauna effect. So like we're kind of doing that in the hotel, and then he gets to like 2 pounds in the weight, and then he just can't do it anymore. So like he didn't make weight. He's 2 pounds over, and then dude, like his kidneys started to shut the fuck down. So like he goes to the hospital, and they're like, dude, your kidneys are failing, and like they admitted him. So he like got pulled off the fight. But the point is like the weight cutting, if you don't do it right, like that shit can fuck you up bad,
bro. I'm scared to see if there's any like residual damage I did to myself.
Just ignore it. You'll be fine. Just ignore it.
I really am. Like I'm fortunate. Like I haven't had like a kidney issue, or I mean I was well on my way. I think if I would have made weight for Pettis, I think I would have had some type of issue. I was definitely like the people around me at the PI, they had done a bunch of tests on me before that camp, and they were like, yo, this is going to be
a tough one.
For me, they're not in control of my career. I am. So I'm saying, well, fuck you guys. I'll do it anyways. Watch. I was probably just as bad before. You know what I mean? And they for me, they have been one of the biggest parts of my resurgence. It's been a few things. I've always had a great team around me, but two of the things that really I added to this great formula I've had for the last 12 years is the UFC PI and then starting to train in the gi. They've been two things that have really revamped my career. Those guys, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have made this commitment to go up to 170. I didn't have the confidence for it. To go fight bigger, stronger guys that are just as good. I thought my size was one of my best assets, and they're it turned out to be wrong. So that and training in the gi were two things that really got me in this position to where I'm worth a shit to even talk to on a podcast.
Dude, that UFC PI is something else, bro. Yeah. They're doing some amazing stuff. To have that access, how much that's been a real game changer,
dude,
I imagine.
Like I said, I've been blessed with have a great team here.
Yeah.
My head coach Rick Little has been the same guy. That guy, that's the captain. That's the guy that's always he runs the show for the last 12 years for me, and we've done great things together. Chauncey is my boxing coach. Mike Howe is one of my old boxing coaches. My old strength, and he's still one of my strength coaches here, CJ. But CJ Taylor's the guy that was first really got me into strength conditioning. This is what you're supposed to do. He was a football player, so he's the guy that introduced me into weights and started to unlock this potential that I never knew I had.
Yeah.
But to go with the caliber of people at the PI, we're talking the elite of the elite, the best. I mean, Bo Sandoval, the head strength conditioning coach, was at University of Michigan for 7 to 8 years. Trained Olympian wrestlers, and for me, those are the people I admire a lot. He trained Olympians, did Olympic quads. Same with Heather Linden, who's the PT. Clint Wattenberg, who's the head, he's the head of nutrition science.
Okay.
These guys, and then they're building people on top of that.
Yeah.
It's just, you go there and they help you solve problems. If it's problems that don't involve this, if it involves your body, things like that, they're a huge help.
Yeah. So you said you mentioned the hot tub. Do you add anything to that, or is it just the hot water itself?
I would just do the regular hot tub, a hot tub.
Yeah, just a regular hot tub.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now I just do a bath. I just a hot bath.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always added the rubbing alcohol and Epsom salt because that salt draws moisture.
Yeah.
And then the magnesium would help my muscles, I felt.
They say it's just best to just go with water.
Okay.
It just works for me. And if there's, I know people that do the Epsom salt stuff and they like that, but me, I'm I hate the chlorine. I've exasperated all my means of cutting weight to where I hate all of it. I used to do the sauna all the time. And now even if I'm not cutting weight, I can't sit in the sauna for more than 20 minutes.
It's ruined you.
So now I did all the time in the plastics. Now I'm
fuck plastics, bro.
Keep the fucking things off me.
Yeah.
And then it's I'm exasperating them down to where it's hot bath. That's it. When I retire from MMA. It'll have been the hot bath, and that's it. I don't mind that. It's not too bad. I can pull my legs out, my arms, and I don't have to cut a shit ton of weight anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go through the whole, the whole chain of things you use to cut weight.
Yeah. Dude, weight cutting sucks ass.
It's so bad.
What is your diet like? I assume you're not vegan.
No.
And I'm not against vegans, but it's just if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it's a hard diet to actually do right. If you really
especially when you're talking
right.
about how big of a protein deficit you're in.
Yeah.
In most sources of protein.
You got to supplement vitamin B12.
Yeah. Well, and for when you're a vegan, your protein sources, most of them have carbs. Mm-hmm. So going back to what you asked about my diet, outside of training camp, it's not even worth talking about. It's not like it's bad.
You're just a normal dude, right?
I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like the 80-20 diet. If I'm out of camp, it's 80% good, 20% bad. Pretty easy.
Right on.
But when I'm in camp, it's pretty simple, man. It's I don't have to go into what it was like to make 55. Not even do I want to divulge what I had to eat then, because it's null and void. It didn't do me any good.
Where are we at today?
Yeah. So for me, it's eating good, and you're always one to round your bases with having your carbs, meats, vegetables, fats, all that stuff. But the biggest thing is timing your carbs that is the key to activating energy systems, and that's also the key to maintaining your weight. And when I say that in a way of maintaining weight, you just don't eat carbs if you're not going to work out. That's the biggest thing. Like if you're not going to go through, if I'm going to come here at Chauncey's gym at Boxfit in Spokane, if I'm going to come here and I'm going to do just a regular, like if I was to come here out of camp, like I probably wouldn't need to eat carbs before. I'm going to work the bag. I'll maybe do a couple rounds of mitts, a little bit of bag work, a little bit of speed bag, some jump rope, and I'm out of here. I don't really need to activate any of my anaerobic energy systems. I'm not really going to be putting myself through a long, explosive, really strenuous workout. So I don't really need that. I could just run on fats and protein. That's fine. But if it's camp and I'm coming here and I know I'm going to be doing 5 rounds of really freaking hard mitts, there could be some sparring, hard bag rounds, things that are going to activate, those energy sources, those energy systems that need more fuel.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat carbs.
Yeah.
But when I get done, I'm not going to.
So you're not a very heavy carb guy, unless
I am.
You need to eat to your activity level, right?
Yeah.
And as a professional, you have to have some sort of carbs.
Right? If I'm in camp, all my workouts are going to be hard. And for me, Chauncey talks about, I train like a madman. Yeah. I'm coming here from a workout and going from here to another one. I'm like,
what's after this?
If today, well, today we have a little family time. So
okay.
Yeah. So,
but in general, that's the deal.
Yeah. So in general, it's like if, for example, Friday, Friday in training camp would be 10 a.m., 10 to 11:30. I got my jiu-jitsu, and then I have a strength conditioning workout I'll go to straight from there, and that's always fucking hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. Bo puts me through some hell, and he'll send me my programs remotely so I can do them here. So I'll do those pretty much back to back. I'll bring a meal with me in between, and then usually go home or charge the batteries for a second. I usually have a pretty hard practice on Friday at probably 6.
Okay.
So, and then if I'm feeling like a psychopath, I might go run when I get home or something.
Yeah.
So usually for me in training camp, I'm usually, unless I'm getting down to where it's the part of camp where it's like we're going to have some lighter technique stuff, I'm going to eat my protein, my carbs, every meal until it's like I get home for the night and I'm done. And it's like there's no need for carbs. There's no need to hold any of that extra stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just do vegetables, fats, protein.
Have you ever experimented, we are talking about timing of carbs. Have you ever experimented backlogging your carbs? Or
like doing it the night before?
Yeah, like eating a big-ass carb meal before bed to replenish all that glycogen for the next day?
I'll do that right now. Right now, with being out of camp and not having to worry about my weight, I will.
Yeah.
I just, when you're going through, I feel like, and if I'm, pretty burned out, once I'm in camp, my body metabolizes stuff so fast.
So fast, bro.
So I would have to eat like 3 cooked cups of oatmeal because I will munch that. By the time I get to training that next day, my weight won't have lost. I won't have lost any weight in my sleep. I won't have floated anything.
Yeah.
Not that I would. Usually I want to get that little slow descent through camp.
Right.
But those carbs wouldn't be there. So that's why I do it now. My metabolism's a lot slower.
Yeah.
Because I'm not training as hard as I am when I'm in camp.
Yeah.
So I will backlog my carbs. Like last night, I was like, I'm gonna have a hard no-gi day, so I'm gonna have a poke bowl.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna load up 2 servings of rice, my protein, all that stuff, because I know I'm gonna have a hard jiu-jitsu day.
Right.
And then, when I'm in training camp, but once I'm in good shape and I'm in camp, I don't need the carbs because going to jiu-jitsu and stuff, I can go
all day for that.
Yeah, that's just I do that so much.
You know how to preserve energy, right? When to go, when not to go, and you have the endurance.
Just even if it's if it's my normal jiu-jitsu regimen, and I have tough partners, and sometimes I'm the hammer and sometimes I'm the nail. That's the way she goes. Those aren't the workouts I need to charge up for, unless it's hey, this class we brought in a special guy from the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Speaking of,
then I'm now I'm gonna carb up. Now I'm gonna get some oatmeal, some eggs. I'm gonna get a good breakfast in me before I go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Totally different ball game. But one thing that's been big for me, in camp, out of camp, doesn't matter, is I have one little ritual I do every morning, and every morning it is a cup of coffee with MCT oil and collagen protein, all the 5-type collagen protein, a little bit of creamer, blend that up. I have that every morning.
Nice.
It's just that's the one thing I can go, unless I'm having to really do some really strenuous stuff, some really explosive type of sparring or anything like that.
Yeah.
I can do almost anything off of that.
It's a good move, dude. You get the caffeine, you got a healthy fat.
And it's just it's good to have a couple of ritual things that are good for you outside of camp. Like just a couple like daily ritual, like just whether it's this coffee thing or if you're a smoothie guy or whatever, just to have just like 2 things in a day that you do that you put in your body every day, whether you're training or not, whether you have a camp or not, whatever's going on. It's good to have just at least 2 things and then just work around that.
Dude, I think no matter who you are, like routine is the key to success in all areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what I've noticed, and like I've had a lot of conversations, like the most successful people, and no matter what they do, like a good majority of them have a morning routine.
Oh yeah.
Which like sets them up for success for the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I knew a girl back at like 2015, way before Kelsey Joe's time. If you're listening, babe. This girl's a successful accountant from California.
Yeah.
And she had this thing where it was 10 before 10. She accomplished 10 things before 10 a.m.
Nice.
So, in order to do that, if I was to accomplish 10 things before 10 a.m., well, I don't have a job. I have fighting. So I'm not going to do 10 practices. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have to probably do some chores. I'm going to have to do pay some bills. I'm going to have to do, 10.
Maybe read a book or
10 things before 10 a.m. I'm going to have to get up early. You know what I mean?
That's a win. Make your bed for some people is a fucking win.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's like, it is true. You have to have any type of success, you have to have regiment. And with regiment comes drive. You know what I mean? That those things go hand in hand. And when you have drive, that means you have a dream.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have, I mean, we mentioned those, like the morning coffee, but do you have like a morning routine at all or?
Not really. You know what I mean? I just know I have a routine in a sense where no matter what, there's certain things I'm going to attend. You know what I mean? There's certain practice I'm going to attend no matter what. Whether I'm in camp or I'm out of camp. These days at these times I'm doing this. You know what I mean? I have a couple things a day. Oh, it's starting to snow outside.
Is it starting to snow already?
Yes.
You like the snow?
I love the snow, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be a badass weekend for me. It's going to be crazy. Yeah.
Does the snow bring fun?
Snow brings fun. I snowboard in and out of camp. We want to talk about in and out of camp.
You're
regiment.
a madman,
that is
bro.
One of them. That is one
shit.
of them. Yeah, that is one of them. I will go from for example, so we're talking about regiment, day in, day out stuff. If it's winter and I'm in training camp, like when I'm in training camp for RDA, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I have jiu-jitsu at 10 a.m. no matter what.
Yeah.
So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then Saturday, Sunday. Usually Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday because I coach wrestling too.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday I can ride. So I know what I'm doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday morning, jiu-jitsu and coaching.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, I know I can get up at 5 a.m., pack my shit. I can head to the mountains, go do some, I always say it's like, aerobic capacity training.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, it's active recovery.
Yeah. Well, I ride hard. There's no recovery about it.
Bro, straight Cowboy Cerrone style out there.
I am. Me and Cowboy. I wouldn't say we're cut from the same cloth because he's pretty gnarly all around.
Yeah.
But I have some shades of him. That would be such a preposterous, pompous thing for me to say, yeah, I'm cut from the same cloth as Cowboy Cerrone. He's like, bullshit, motherfucker. That guy's on another level.
He's doing some crazy shit.
I love him for it.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
People got to see people soaking life up. Like, I know that it's for guys like him and, and myself, and there's others out there that, like, we do things outside of our career that put us in jeopardy and this and that, but it's like, what good does that do the people that you want to inspire? Like, you need to show people that you need to soak life up and live it for every moment you can have, squeeze every drop you can out of it, like do every single thing that you want to do, enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to be a snowboarder and a ballerina and try to be an astronaut, then do it all at the same time. Do everything that you want to do in life, because I mean, sooner or later you're going to get old and you're not going to have that option anymore. So people need to see people like Cowboy soaking life up. He's the one that inspired me. I never started snowboarding until Cowboy came out of the shell and started showing all these cool things he does.
Yeah, he's like, I'm into this and this and this.
Yeah, because I wrestled growing up, so I was like, God forbid, I'm not going to fucking snowboard. Like, I'm not going to risk getting hurt, then I can't wrestle.
Yeah.
I wasn't even that good. I was like a JV kid. I want to wrestle, you know what I mean? I love it no matter what.
Yeah.
And then once I got in the UFC and I see what he's doing, I'm like, you know what? I need to fucking start snowboarding. I need to start doing the things that I want to do, because what's the point of all this?
Right.
The point, you know what I mean? Yeah, I want to be a world champion. That'll be the ultimate feeling when I get there. But that moment's gonna only last this long. You know, you're gonna win the title, and then I've talked to many guys that became world champions. It's not like every day you wake up and you're like, I'm world champion. It's like
the best.
Sooner or later, the shock value wears off, and it just becomes a dusty trophy on your wall.
Everything becomes normal.
Yeah, so it's like the real enjoyment of life is just being able to do what you want, being able to, and if you can't do what you want because you don't have the means to do it, then at least have the passion and the drive and the focus to make the means happen to where you can do these things you want to do.
Or be willing to eat shit long enough. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're doing what you want to do. Maybe, like, you're not making as much money, but it's like...
And that's usually the root of it. When I try to talk to people about this, well, I don't make enough money. It's like, well, if you really want to do it bad enough, you find a way to do it. And I'm not a Gary Vee guy. I can't tell you how to go get motivated to make money. That's not it at all. But I'm always just like, when I tell people, like, you know, I can do what I want, you know, and this and that, and I'm trying to send this message like, well, you have more money. And it's like, it's not even about money. It's about like, if you really want to do something, you're going to do whatever you have to do to make it to where it can happen. You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't know how to figure out how to make it happen, then you're going to find the way to make it happen. You're going to, especially nowadays, it's easy to find the resources. You can go on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do anything. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So it's so many means out there for people to do what they want in life. It's just like, you know, you just got to go out there and have to do it.
Yeah, either you will or you won't.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
it's true.
That all-in mentality is what gets you to success.
Yeah,
right? You can't find excuses.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's a weird world we live in, man. There's a lot of victims out there. You have this, and this is why you can do that. It's like you could have everything and more than me,
dude,
if you really wanted it. You know what I mean?
Well, those people just find excuses, right?
Yeah.
Because you didn't always have whatever this is.
No.
Right? Like,
far from it.
You started out, it was just a dream.
Yeah.
Right? Broke fighter just like anybody else.
Yeah.
0 followers.
0.
On the when we were coming up, dude, everyone was going through the AMI scene.
Yeah.
Like, the AMI scene was huge.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I started fighting in 2008. I
fought
fought 2008 to 2018-ish.
Yeah.
And it's like, everybody's coming up through the amateur scene. Like, the big dudes in the very beginning were like Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. Yeah, and it's like, it was just different. You know what I mean? You had a whole lot of hungry fighters, whole lot of hungry people, and it's like, if you weren't willing to sacrifice, then like, you're just not going to make it.
No, and that's a big thing now. It's still the same thing with fighting too. You get that a lot where it's like, but you'll talk to a guy that's aspiring coming up, and you try to pump them up and give them some advice, and they're like, well, it's easy for you to say, look where you're at. It's like, well, that's what separates you from a lot of other people, is because I've been where you're at too. You know, it's just when you want something bad enough, you're going to find the way to make it happen. You know what I mean? And if you don't find a way to make it happen, you can at least find solace knowing you tried your hardest.
Right.
That's not the true measurement of success. Isn't about achieving all your dreams. It's really not. I mean, because the truth of the matter is, the vast majority of us, we don't get to the top of our dreams. We don't get to that true vision. But it's when, you know, and I don't know because I'm still in the chase, but it's like it's about just being able to say I gave my all. You know what I mean? You shoot for the stars, you miss, you land in the clouds. That whole thing, like,
the journey really does matter.
It really does. You know what I mean? And that's what you're left with, qualities and characteristics that will carry you through the rest of your life with a lot of prosperity in terms of, you know, it's like when somebody really tries to become an Olympic champion in wrestling. Yeah. And I always go to wrestling because I feel like wrestling, there is no sport that creates more morally sound, hard, driven, just good people. You know what I mean? There's really not I'm trying to find the right way to word this. But it's just like these guys that pursue becoming an Olympic champion, even if they come up short, in order to fully pursue that dream, it takes so much work. You have to learn about accountability. You have to learn about doing things when you don't want to do them. You have to learn about going above and beyond, you know, and just
working hard when you're alone.
You have to build all these qualities that whether you come up short or you achieve it, it doesn't matter, because you have these qualities that are going to take care of you for the rest of your life, because they're just ingrained in you because it was a part of what you were pursuing before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, wrestling changed my life. Like, it put me on the entire course that I'm on. Like growing up, I thought wrestling was WWF stuff, WWE. And like I had a elementary school teacher. He was the high school wrestling coach. Yeah. And this is a very small town. And then like so that was kind of like a little bit of exposure, but I didn't know. And then I moved away, and I had a buddy as my freshman year in high school. He went out to the wrestling team because his older brother did. He's like, bro, come out. You'll get better for football. I'll make you. I'm like, well, we'll make me quicker probably. Yeah. And then, dude, it's like it became my favorite. Like it changed my whole fucking life. Like, it's everything. Yeah. Yeah.
It's you know, for me, I was never that great. I didn't make it to state. I wasn't a college wrestler or nothing like that. But and this goes for a lot of kids I've coached too. It doesn't even matter if you became good at it or not. It's if you are somebody that just immersed yourself in the sport of wrestling. Yeah. If you actually didn't just participate, if you're like, I'm going to love this sport. I'm going to really give into this sport. I'm going to give in and go through the practices in the weight cutting and all these things that come with it that make everybody quit and give up. I'm going to immerse myself to this. I'm going to commit to it. And it's given me everything I've ever wanted in my life. Yeah. And that's it. Like, I'll always remember the first time I ever got broken. I remember this was intensive camp 2005 out at Lakeside High School out here. Fucking hard camp. I mean, this is before society got a little softer. Wrestling camps were pretty fucking gnarly back in the day.
Bro, intensive camps are no joke. Yeah. Where they make you climb up a mountain with the log on your back.
Oh, dude. Well,
some did do that.
This is similar. So Lakeside is like their high school's on like literally it's Lakeside, but so they have the high school's up on this hill. And then you can go down, and it's very sandy. It's like a lot of sand. It's like a very sandy area. So one of the intensive sessions is the hill climbs. And so it's this really steep, sandy hill. It's really soft, and they've run us through a series of like sprints and bear crawls, and you got your buddy carries and all that bullshit. Well, the last one, so they split the wrestling camp into 4 groups. You got group 1, 2, 3, and 4. And group 1 is the small guys. Group 4 is the big guys. So usually you got like Group 4, you're going to have some obese guys. In your Group 1, you're going to have some middle schoolers. So they don't really get they get the heat, but the brunt goes to Groups 2 and 3. That's the guys that are, you know what I mean?
You guys should all be killing it.
Yeah, so I was in Group 3, but I was like the lightest guy in my group. I was like 150, I was like 152 pounds, I think. Okay. And I got stuck doing this, my buddy carry. It was like a prom queen where you had to carry him like this.
Like back to chest?
No, like you're like
back,
like
this.
Like
I
this.
got it. Yeah, bringing the bride through the door.
You know, prom queen. Woo. I got stuck with the biggest guy in our group, and I was the smallest. And so I'm trying to hold him, and I'm trying to go up the hill, and it's like Robbie Hall and these guys. Like, I had an older sister that didn't do me any favors, so a lot of these guys knew who she was. And so they, you know, you can imagine when you're going through an intensive camp, not only are they calling you names, they're talking about your sister and all this shit. And I'm trying to carry this guy, and I remember I like closed my eyes. I was like, I can't fucking do it. I started crying. I'm like, throwing this fit. And the next thing I know, I like open my eyes and I'm on top of the hill, and I just dropped the guy. And like, see you fucking pussy, you fucking man. And I'm like, fuck you, don't talk to me. I cried afterwards for like an hour, dude. I could not stop myself from crying.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, I was the day I got broke. It was like, in the definition of breaking a kid, it's not about breaking them to the point where they can't get up. It's about breaking them through the mental barrier. Like there's always like, I can't do this. Like, no, trust me. When you can't do something, it's when your body won't respond when you're telling it to. Like when you're like, get up, and your body won't. Now you're done. But it's always your mind that's holding you back. Like, right. That's the definition of breaking a kid. It's not about breaking them down to where they can't get themselves back up. It's about breaking down the mental barrier where they're like, I can't do something. Like, fuck you, you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I've had kids that I've coached that have come back to me. I always get a random message, and I'll get these kids like, hey, coach, like, I know I haven't talked to you in a while. And a lot of them are these kids that go in the service. A lot of them are kids that go into like the Marines and stuff. Yeah. And they'll always send me a message, and they're just like, hey, man, I just want you to know I just got done with boot camp, and I want to thank you. When I was going through boot camp, I was going back to that time you broke me after practice for swearing. You know, it's always when the kids, I'm punishing them for something. Yeah. Like, I go back to that time that you broke me, and it got me through my boot camp. And I'm like, you know, it's funny. I love these kids. I look up to these kids as much as they look up to me because I see things like that and I admire them for it. And even though I got to participate in helping them do that, I'm like, that little inner child in me comes out and I'm like, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, like, I mean, how much did that change your life, being broke that first time?
It made everything. It made me go through, I mean, just to even get through some of the things I've been through with my career in the UFC have been, you know, dealing with the loss of my dad and, you know, a lot of other shit like that. Like, that's that will to push on and strive to persevere. Yeah, it all comes from that time on that fucking sandy hill.
Dude, yeah, man. And, you know, dude, some people never get, like, they don't get that gift. They don't know what it's like to be pushed to, like, the mental brink of where you feel like you can't go anymore, and then you break, and then you do go through it, and you're like, fuck, dude, I didn't even know there was that level.
Or even for some people that don't, some people can be broke, and it doesn't even take something physical. Like, not everybody's going to participate in activities like what we do. You know what I mean? It could be somebody that's a student that's really taking on, you know, someone that's trying to become a brain surgeon or something.
Yeah, you're studying for the MCAT or something.
And they're breaking. They're like, I can't do this, and they're quitting, and they don't think they can do it, and they're like, I'm gonna keep going. And then the next thing you know, they're doing it, and they get through it, and they're like, holy shit! Like, some people can find that mental barrier on their own. You know what I mean? Some people find that mental barrier having to battle fucking sickness. You know what I mean? There's might be some people that get cancer, and they find that gift in that trying time. You know what I mean? And if God help, you know, I would never want that. I would never want anybody to find that ability that we're talking about
in that way
through sickness. But it's true. You know what I mean?
It happens.
There's some people that, you know, I think there's some people that don't have a choice whether they're gonna live or not in that type of situation.
Yeah.
But I think that there are people that have overcame sicknesses and ailments because of the mental power.
100%. Dude,
you can't use your mind. You can't use your mind to get you through anything. You know, there's some things that you're going to hit roadblocks.
Right.
Doesn't mean you can be strong up until you know it's not enough. You know what I mean? But it's like I feel like there are cases where people the power of the mind is what got them through
100%.
something like that.
Well, it's certainly a factor.
Yeah.
Right. Whether or not you're being positive or like, it's funny. I was talking to my girlfriend about this the other day because. There was somebody who was older that she knew, and it was a couple, like the wife died.
Yeah.
And then, like, literally probably like 3 or 4 days later, the husband's, like, picking out caskets and flowers.
Yeah.
Sits down, puts his hands in his face, didn't come back up, died.
No way.
And it's like, you know, you hear about that, like, you know, people who are married, they pass away pretty close to each other. This is, like, days later. I really feel like, and you see it even with people who are sick, you know, they just give up and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
I feel like at a certain point, man, like you just kind of have that option. It's like, you know what, man, I'm good. I'm ready to go. And like, so on that same note, when you're not ready to go, and if you are being positive and it's just like, no, I'm going to beat this shit. And like, there is something to that. You know what I mean? People always like to call it the placebo effect. Yeah. Right? It's like, but there's something there. Like your mind is doing something.
Dude, it's funny you say that. My coach, Rick, the one I was talking about, he's been my head coach forever. His dad is very old. He's like 91. His dad's a 2-time Top Gun recipient. He was a colonel of Fairchild Air Force Base here in town.
Shit.
Yeah, he's the colonel. We always call him the colonel.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. Yeah, he's Silver Star recipient. He's a real life war hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's an American hero. But he literally, you know, he used to kind of smoke and drink, and he didn't make the best choices. And you know, and he had a scare when he was older in age. I think he was like in his 80s. And the doctor was just like, if you don't stop doing these things, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be done. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, I don't want to die yet. So he stopped doing everything. But even at that, he still had scares, but he still talks about, like, how he wants to live longer. And he's very old, man. He's a guy, he's got a lot of physical issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, when I talked to my coach Rick about it, we both talk on this same matter. We're like, we really think that if he really wanted to just be done, he could just close his eyes and be done.
He could.
You know what I mean? He really could. You know what I mean? But he wills himself to live.
Yeah.
Because he can. You can't. If you come down with a condition that you can't will yourself through, that's fate. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with maintaining that same mindset going into that type of battle. But it's like in this situation, yes, he has a lot of physical ailments and stuff, but he is willing himself to live in life. And I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, whether you love your family, you know, kids, whatever it is.
Whatever your motivation is.
He is willing himself to be here.
Yeah.
And it's so admirable. I love the guy to death. He's awesome. You know what I mean? he's a real life war hero, and he's you know. I look at him at the age he's at, and I'm like, I would just want to be done. You know what I mean? I would be ready to just close my eyes and move on to the afterlife or whatever comes next. But no, he wills himself to live for his family. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can only imagine, like, fuck, dude, the things that guy saw.
Dude, that he's. I love when I get the colonel going, dude. When I get Richard going, man, he'll start telling me some stories, and it's just, I mean, he fought the Korean War, and he almost actually got the first jet-to-jet kill.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, when they're in the Korean War, these guys are just like, they're booze hounding. You know, it's like they're just under the assumption like this is their last night.
This is it. Let's go all in, baby.
The next mission is the next day, and we're gonna die. You know what I mean? So they can just go get hammered every night and. His dad was telling me, he's like, well, you know, we just never thought we were going to, every night was our last. And he had this jet in his sights, and he's lining them up, and he was too hungover. He just couldn't get the sights right on it. and it was actually I think if I'm correct, I could, you know, don't directly quote me on this. But
we're not historians, folks.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was his wingman that picked up the kill. But he almost got the very first jet-to-jet.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 2-time Top Gunner. So, I mean, this guy is fucking bad. We're talking.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
Yeah, you think Tom Cruise is a badass, but take a seat, Pete Mitchell. There's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, bro. Shit.
Yeah, he's legit.
Yeah, damn, dude. Yeah, his willpower is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'm sure, man.
Yeah. You know, and this also goes back to what we were talking about. I can only imagine what you had to go through to become a fighter pilot.
Oh,
I'm sure you got mentally broke. You know what I mean? I'm sure you had to go through something. You had to push through some barriers. I mean, dude, you had to learn how to go through taking, you know, G's, you know, multiple G turn and getting your insides twisted in your guts. Like, I'm sure you had to go through some shit. You know what I mean?
Really accepting death.
Yeah.
You have, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people, you have to accept that, especially, like, on some regard, right? Even as a fighter. But, like, when you're in a fucking plane, bro, it's like, which is why they're getting drunk every night.
There's levels to this, man. People are like, fighting's the craziest job. I'm like, no, it's not.
Nope.
Imagine being a fighter pilot. I have a buddy that just passed away. Rest in peace, Jess Roskelley. This guy... amazing individual. This guy was the youngest person to ever summit Everest for the longest. He did Everest when he was 19.
Oh, shit.
And this is in like 2004, I think.
That's some real deal stuff.
Before it was very...
Like the thing.
Yeah, it's very... I mean, you can pay $50,000 and have the Sherpas take you up. Easier said than done. It's still hard as shit. But this was before that was an option. But yeah, he summited Everest when he was 19. He passed away in a climbing accident. Mm-hmm. And we would have these conversations where... You know, I met Jess through Sam Cecilia, who's one of my teammates.
Okay.
And, you know, we'd all go out for beers, and Jess would be like, man, you guys are fucking nuts, dude. You guys getting locked in a fucking cage and fighting people. And I'm like, bro, you are so... Jess, I'm not going to call you stupid because you're a very intelligent man. But I go to a weigh-in. I go weigh in against a guy that I get to face the next day with a ref and a doctor and a guy that's going to protect our well-being. You go challenge Mother Nature regularly. You take trips to Pakistan, and you're climbing over dead bodies and shit. Dude, you're on a different level, bro. Like that,
way different level.
Mother Nature doesn't lose.
Never, never.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, Mother Nature got one on him. You know what I mean? And he's not with us today. But you know what I mean? You want to talk about somebody when you're having a tough time, and you're like, "Fuck, man, don't be a pussy. Look at what Jess does.
Yeah,
look at the things. Look at the things that he does.
With that perspective.
Look at the things that the general does.
Yeah."
You know, look at the things that look at what Rick's dad does. Look at what Jess does. You know, it's like look at what these guys do. Shut up, quit bitching. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So that shit goes through your mind when you're like facing those hard times. You're like, look what this guy did. And this
all
guy
the time. Yeah, I'll think about when my dad had cancer. I'll think about Jess climbing mountains. I'll think about Rick's dad and him fighting in the Korean War.
Yeah,
I'll think of things like that. You know, and you have to. You know what I mean? You can't always. There is no person in the world that has it the roughest. There's no title to that. You know what I mean? So you always got to find something to draw inspiration from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody that could be in any situation that's there's always, no matter the situation, there's always somebody or some situation that someone's in that you can pull inspiration from.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm always just like, I have these people around me that I can be like, look at what they've been through and look at what they've done.
Yeah.
You got to get up and do it for them. My cousin Shane, he has a muscular dystrophy. He's been in a wheelchair his whole life. Shut up.
Yeah.
Don't say you're going to skip something because you're too sore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would kill to be sore. He would kill to have a knee ache. He would kill to have a neck injury.
Yep.
But he can't. So you don't take life for granted. Get your ass up and go do it. You know what I mean? So it's you got to pull inspiration from things like that and things that are going on around you.
Yeah. Well, it's that difference between like being a victim, right? Like you can choose to like, oh, woe is me. Oh, compare like, oh, well, my struggle's harder than yours. Or you can be like, well, fuck, dude. Like we're all struggling, but at least you're getting something out of it.
Yeah, and I value those people. Those are there are people that are around me. You know what I mean? And they're people that they probably don't even know how much they inspire me. They probably don't know the effect that they have on my life. Yeah. It's not like I just want to go up to Rick's house and tell his dad, like, hey, man, I just want you to know that today I was having a bad day. And I thought thinking about you in the planes. And no, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not calling my cousin Shane. Hey, man,
Yeah.
I was fucking going to skip a workout today, and I thought about you and how, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I keep it to myself. You know what I mean? But maybe someday they'll know. You know what I mean?
Well, it goes to show you never know who you're inspiring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, just live your life and let people be inspired.
Yeah, more people are watching than you know. And when that doesn't mean that goes for anybody. That goes for if you're even maybe sometimes somebody's like an older brother and they don't realize how much their younger siblings look up to them, or just somebody in the workplace, or just anybody in your environment.
Yeah, don't take yourself for granted, right? Because you just don't fucking know like who you're inspiring.
Exactly.
For real, dude.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. We're right on an hour, or a little over actually. I want to be respectful of your time.
Thank you.
Dude, I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah,
dude.
It was fun.
I'm going to leave the floor to you, dude. Tell people how they can check you out. If there's anything you want to plug, promo, sponsors, this is you, bro.
Shit, let's go for it. On all my social media platforms, it's at MikeMav22. As always, I want to thank my teammates, my coaches. They all know who they are. And then my sponsors on it, my manager, my manager, Daniel Rubenstein. I don't know how I messed that up. My manager, Daniel Rubenstein, on it. Hyperfly, love Hyperfly, love me some Hyperfly.
Yeah,
I'm just drawing a blank with all my sponsors: Zebra Mats, Nike Wrestling, Athlete Performance Solutions, Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, S Shoes, just everybody. Thank you, Spokane. I love this city. This weird little city you're in. It's a
cool little town.
It's a very special place to me. So I got nothing but love for my city and my people, and mad love for letting me come on your show and get my sweet ramblings off.
Dude, this has been a great conversation. Anytime,
it was awesome. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Well, everybody, until next time.
Yes, sir.